Well, I'm just finishing up the last of all the stuff that broke around here. I would say she's pretty well fried. Reckon it's time for a new one. During the minus 11 degree temperatures. Day before yesterday, I think it was, got all the snow cleaned up around here, and it snowed again today, and it's going to snow some more tonight and tomorrow. And the cold water is froze up in my house. And in October, my furnace quit working, and a guy came out about 4 days ago and finally come out and repaired it, and it's broke again. So my propane furnace is not working, and I think the regulator froze up because my kitchen stove is weirding out too, and the burners don't light and work the way they're supposed to. And I went to start this thing to make sure I had a generator in case the power went out, and I got to deal with that. And I went to do a load of laundry, and it filled up with water, but it doesn't wash, so it's broke. But the bright side, on the bright side, the forecast says the weather's going to warm up about the 1st of April. And I had to plow snow again today. What's the deal here? Oh, this. I found this. This has a hole in it. This is broken. So, I just happen to have there in my box, it's labeled fuel. I have some line, and it's the right size. I just got to get a compression fitting, put it on this one. And this just goes to show that you never, ever, ever throw anything away. Always hoard everything at all times. All right, I'm gonna get busy and put that together and replace some wiring on this thing, and get that all hooked up and tighten the belt, and then maybe we can get back to more important things. Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, old Carson Cook and big old fat squirrels. Welcome to William Myers Old Iron. Glad you stopped by. Oh, finally getting to do a little bit of stuff on the Dirty Dozen again. I've been spent about 10 days just trying to repair everything that broke down during the Arctic blast that hit the whole nation. And I didn't have it any worse than anybody else, but just had some breakdowns around here, and so it's taken me about a week or 10 days just to get back to square one. Just to get back where I was 2 weeks ago. You know, just little things. Furnace quit working when it's minus 11. Just little things like that. Nothing major. Anyway, yeah, I'm about to try and kick out a video and get back to work in the shop. I'd like to go get some metal. I'm running short. My inventory is low, but everything's closed today. This is Monday in observance of New Year's Day, I guess. So I won't be doing that, but I've got other things I can do. I've got enough metal here to just scrounge out just enough to build some framework in the Dirty Dozen, and for my floors, and cut some metal and get that installed, and then the goal today is I would like to finish up I'd like to get my seats mounted in there, but I kind of needed the floors in first so I can see where my feet's gonna sit and all that stuff. You get it. But anyway, that's enough out of me. Let's get busy. You guys get your coveralls on, get your gloves. Let's go. Chop chop. I do believe my pants are on fire. Looks like my chair's on fire. I believe my table's on fire. Oops. Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Waylon Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel. I did some work on my compressor. I did some welding on the platform here, and I replaced the pressure switch, realigned the motor and tightened the belt, and rewired everything and fired it up, and this thing ran as quiet, more quiet than it ever has. And you know, I thought, well, I'll just go in the house and have a cup of coffee or whatever I was doing yesterday, and to let it build pressure, and came back out and it was still running. And I'm going, well, what kind of deal is this? Well, wouldn't you know that something I didn't even touch, something up there started leaking. I can hear it hissing air up there, so I've got to go drag my ladder around from the other side of the house where Noah was on the roof shoveling snow, and get it in here and get in there and investigate that. So I was all planning to jump onto this thing. I got this seat I got to finish up. I got to put my little round stock in here and finish that out, and then do some welding in there and build up a platform to set these seats on and level up the floor. Well, you know, all that deal. So first I've got to address this, because I'm probably going to need a plasma cutter, and I'm probably going to need some air for that. So I don't know. I'm going to fire the compressor up and let it build up enough pressure so that I can hear the leak and determine what's going on and try and fix it. All right, I'll be back. You guys just wait right there. I'll be right back. You know, and that's the way it goes. Something you didn't even touch will go haywire. You know, you can change the breather on your truck and your rear tire will start leaking. I don't know. Murphy's Law, I guess. This thing's leaking out around in here. I think it's, well, now I'm in frame. Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear. I think it just wore out. You know, this was a Harbor Freight special 30 years ago. And you see this dent right here? There's a wonderful story that goes with that dent.
And now it's story time with Uncle Waylon.
A friend of mine was up here. Guy used to work with me on the crafting stuff, and we were just good friends anyway. And he's very mechanically inclined. And when I first built this shop, he was up here helping me. And we were hanging that thing. And I don't know, I don't remember exactly why. The bolts were just started or something. It wasn't completely cinched down, but he was up. Maybe that's what he was doing. Maybe he was up there putting those bolts in that holds it up. But he was on this ladder. He was up on that ladder, and he didn't have this, like I said, that's why this restraint is on there, because of that incident. He was up there, and the tongue slid out from under that thing. It was shooting out. Of course, the ladder went down and flattened out. Well, the ladder fell, and then he fell on top of the ladder. Well, he's laying there on his back on top of the ladder looking up, and all of a sudden that thing starts coming down. It was like a cartoon. He rolled out of the way. He seen it coming, and he rolled out of the way just in time for it to hit. And that's what put that dent in that reel. And I've always loved that dent just because of that story. Oh, Mike Reed, I miss you, buddy. I wish you'd get in touch with me if you see this. Anyway, so that's wore out, and it's 30 years old, Harbor Freight. But look what I just happened to have. I had this sitting on the shelf out in the greenhouse. I had bought this a few years ago, and I think my plan was to mount it, a second one, over here somewhere, so I'd have further reach out into my yard, out in front of the, you know, wherever I need to go, out in front of the shop.
Well, I think I got this thing squared away. The pull cord was not working on it. See what I can get it to do, but boy, this thing is heavy. That generator is heavy duty. There you go, Ken. You're not old, you just think you are. I'm just going to cut this one off and weld it to this one and drill the necessary holes. And that's how I'm going to do it. Sure would be a lot easier to cut with a plasma cutter, but I don't have any air. But I got ways to cut that. Don't you worry about old Waylon. No, sir. The Wheel of Death. Well, I'm just not going to take a risk of falling off that other ladder. I don't like to get up that high on the, well, you're not supposed to get up on that next step. Well, I wonder what this is. Oh, this is the instruction book. Huh. I forgot to open that. I usually throw that away before I even start. Oh, what's that you say? Maybe that's my problem. Well, as you can see, I'm low on inventory. Might be able to use some of this, but you know I'd have to beef it up quite a bit. It's just not, that's just not what I want. What I want is this. That piece is all beat up. I want this, but I just don't have enough. Now I do have quite a bit of angle iron, and that would be plenty strong enough. Really be nice to have some nice new pieces of this, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be lovely? But you know, it just depends on how bad my obsession is tonight. How much I just have to do it tonight and not wait till Tuesday. I'm sure the place will be closed Monday. But I do have quite a bit of this angle iron, and that would be plenty strong enough. And you know, between all this, I might be able to come up with something. We'll see. Anyway, that's what I'm dealing with. In one of the last videos, I guess the last video where I was working on this thing at least, there was a YouTuber, well, let me back up. I was talking about mounting. I was talking about maybe tapping this and bolting the tunnel to this and to the floor, and there was a YouTuber commented and said, is that cab hard mounted to the frame? I think that was the question, or something along those lines. Anyway, I know what he was getting at, and it's a good question, because he was thinking if this is mounted solid to the frame, and then if the cab has bushings, and there could be some flex, and I did put some, let me get a light here, some little rubber biscuits in there, you can see, but this thing is so solid. I mean, they're pulled down, cinched down tight. It may as well be welded to the frame. There's not going to be any flex at all. I don't know why I even bothered with those, but I guess it would just seem like the right thing to do at the time. But anyway, I've changed my mind about that. Anyway, I don't need to do that to mount it to this. I'm just going to mount it each side to the floor, and it can float above this, above the drive shaft cage. So I don't know, I may even just go ahead and tack it to the floor, because I don't think it has to come out. It don't. The drive shaft will come out this way, so the tunnel, once it's in there, it can stay in there. But right now what I need to do is, if you can see, Get some light here. I don't know if you can see, but anyway, this side of the floor is pretty level, but this side is sagging. I don't know if y'all can see that, but yeah, that's a pretty good shot, I guess. Oh, it's hanging down quite a bit lower, so I'm gonna have to get that up where it belongs. And this cab is solid enough that I'm not worried about it. I'm going to just go ahead and support it off of this and underneath there and raise that up until it's level. And I'll do that on both sides to give that some support, because the seats, it has to take the weight of the seats and my big body in there at least. So I'm going to build that up a little bit. Yeah, put some kind of support in there. I'll probably just cut off some square tubing, slip it up in there and tack it in. Yeah, so the body's mounted solid enough to the frame that I'm not worried about any flex there or any issues with it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get busy and do that. I'm gonna put some little pieces in there, and then I'm gonna start building some little floorboards to go in this area up here. There's not gonna be much, because I'm just gonna leave that old transmission hanging out, just hanging out raw there. I like it that way. I don't need to I'm not gonna put a tunnel over it. There's really not enough foot room, or well, there's enough foot room, but I don't need to cover up that transmission. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't gain anything by it, and I like the looks of it. I like it hanging out there. So, but we'll put a little floorboard in here, and to keep debris from flying up off the road and coming into the cabin. And then I'll build a little foot board here. And this is my clutch lever here. I know what I'm going to do there. I saw a setup kind of like this, where it went through the floor like that, and they had on the underside, they just had some little brushes on each side, so that kept the dust and dirt and from coming up alongside this and getting into the cab. I'll show you that later on. But right now I'm going to support this floor, so I need to get busy and take some measurements. I'm probably going to crank the music, so you won't hear much out of me for a little bit. So I'm running short on supplies here, metal supplies here lately. There's another little piece. I don't think that's even enough to do one side. I'm gonna look real good here, make sure I don't have some buried down here on these other shelves, but I don't think I do. I don't think so. I was just thinking back when I was building the Rockabilly. It was late one night, about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was on a mission, and things were flowing. I was welding and cutting and grinding and spitting and scratching and having a good old time. And I ran out of metal, and me being the obsessive compulsive personality that I am, I almost cut my welding table apart just so I could keep going. But I said to myself, nah, that's a little bit extreme, Waylon. You know, you can wait. I hate to. It hurt. Well, I suppose that's not the prettiest piece of artwork that I've ever built, but boy, that really firmed things up. That floor is solid now. Yes, sir. I do a little more welding on it, but yeah, that'll support those seats. That is solid. Yeah, I can deal with that. I can live with that. A little more welding to do over there too, but now I'll come off of this and go forward and get some little floorboards built, some little floorboardettes, little floorboards. So now I think I've got to go top side and do some measuring and find my level and then you know where this is and height from the frame, and then go forward and build a bracket to work off of. And same thing, it'll be a little different on this side because of the battery, but we'll figure it out. Well, I reckon it's 2023. Happy New Year, everybody. I spent it right here in my shop, ringing in the new year right here in my shop, as I always do, pretty much always do. No place I'd rather be. Boy, putting those little supports under this really firm things up, man. I'm telling you, look at that. I can't move. I can't budge it. That is solid. This old truck, you know, this was back when they really made them out of metal. There's, you know, it's not plastic like it is nowadays and paper thin metal. I'll show you what I mean. You see this? They welded the exhaust right to the cab, man, because this thing's made out of good old Detroit steel. Yeah, look at there. Welded it right to the cab. Now try that. Try that on your 2023 Ford or Chevy or Dodge or whatever. Yeah, see how that works out. I just love it. If you know, you'll hurt your hand if you hit too hard on this thing, and if I hit my Dodge Ram that's sitting out here like that, I'll put a big dent in it. Okay, what's next? Well, yeah, I've got this firmed up really good. I don't know if I'm gonna mount the seats or put in my floorboards. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll go crank up the music and figure it out. I gotta do some welding in here and firm things up a little bit. This is temporary. This has got to go. I just had that so I could set a seat in there. Oh yeah, let me get busy. Made the preliminary punch, and I'll follow up with this one, and yeah, it's fitting right in there. You can feel it in the groove, feel it in the punch. Hey Josh, what's up, buddy? You starving? Need some groceries? I know, man. Times are hard all over. Don't you know we're in a depression around here? Gotta turn that heat off. It must be 50 degrees in here. Anybody working weather like that? Man. Bob Coates says, who cares? It's a rat rod. All right, Bob. At least I covered up my tea this time. One video, I didn't even notice it. I watched it back. Of course, a bunch of people commented about me getting some iron in my system, in my tea. There's the dust. I was sanding those seats, and dust was flying, and I'm filling up my tea jug with metal dust. I don't care. I got rust in my blood anyway. This has got this nice mottled faux leather look, you know. I mean, this ain't
This ain't Jolene's Bugatti. This is waving wire Dirty Dozen. So that's perfect. Just perfect. Well, I could have made this one a permanent mount, but this one has to come out because the battery's underneath there. And so I'm gonna put that in with screws, but I've got to go maybe tomorrow sometime. I gotta go. Oops. Ever see that one again? I gotta go pick up some flathead screws. All I have right now are these little hex heads, but yeah, I'll get some flathead screws, and that way, you know, I won't be tearing my, if I happen to get in barefoot or something, I won't be tearing my pantyhose or anything, snagging on these old screws. But these will work for right now, just to kind of hold things in place until I get some better ones. Okay, I got this floor. Boy, I mean, it is firmed up. It is solid. Same thing on the other side, and I got this little floorboard put in here, and that's going to be good enough. That'll work. I'm going to put a couple more screws in it so it doesn't oil can, but I'll probably make a piece to go up over that, but I'm going to come down through here, meet up with this piece maybe, but I'm going to leave this open. I'm going to leave that transmission just hanging out there because I like it. I like it that way. Yeah, well, that'll work. That will work. Okay, next, got another little project. Who cares? It's a ride rod. Right, Bob? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Come on. Come on. Sure, in the instructions somewhere it probably says you have to talk to it. We're starting to get there, though. That's almost, you know, that's almost what I'm looking for. Right there. I think we're just about ready to call that a tunnel. Let's see what she looks like. Actually don't look too bad. You know what? That actually don't look too bad. Look at that. I was just afraid I'd get one wall taller than the other one and a bad kink or something, but it kind of rolled itself out. Let's go see how it fits. Look at that. Look at that. How about that? I'm going to put me some
either some self-tappers or maybe some of those flathead screws like I'm going to get tomorrow to fit the floorboard and the toe board over there. But you know what? That is fitting pretty good. Yeah, that fits pretty good. Looks pretty good for my skill set. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's gonna be just dandy. I'll screw that right to the floor. I don't have to worry about screwing it to that drive shaft cage. Now, unless it rattles. If it rattles, I'll put a piece of rubber or something underneath it and screw it down, hit it with some self-tappers or whatever. But yeah, there's the tunnel, and there's the floor, there's the toe board, and this is where I'm gonna leave this one. I've just gotta, well, this is temporary, it's gotta come off. And now I gotta build up some brackets to hold the seats, but first I'm gonna do the other floorboard on the other side. I'm just gonna kind of repeat what I got here. It'll be a little bit different shape, but it'll fit up the same way. And I'm gonna put some more screws in here. When I get those flathead screws, I'm gonna hit it with a few more so it doesn't oil can. Tighten it down good. And that's where we're gonna leave this one, guys. Sure do appreciate you being here.
Well, fellers and fellerettes, that's going to do it for this time. Kind of lax kicking out videos over the holiday time. I just spent a lot of time blowing snow, moving snow, and trying to keep things from falling apart around here. But anyway, yeah, that'll do it this time. But I'm hoping to see you a little more regular, and maybe even a little more often than I have in the last couple of weeks. You know, holidays and all that stuff. Anyway, glad you're here. Until I see you next time, you know what? Yeah, don't have to tell you guys, do I? I sure do appreciate you. We'll see you next time here at Whalen Myers Old Iron.